All right, welcome guys. Happy Saturday. Today we got the Pocket Change Market Report for January 30, 2021. And just like that, in a blink of an eye, we are done with the first month of the year. Crazy quick, crazy. Didn't usually the first month of the year, kind of crawls. Not this month. This month went by. I don't even know where it went, to be honest with you. But we are going to talk about today of the most relevant pocket change finds, cherry picks, from like coin shops and all that great stuff. Stuff that normally that you would find out in circulation that you could just simply flip on eBay. And we're going to take a look at the last day or two of market activity on some of the more relevant varieties and errors. So that way, when you guys go out and you do a little hunting this weekend, this will not only give you a little bit of inspiration for what's out there and for the possibilities when it goes to selling these things, but they are certainly plentiful out there. So, there are some coins that I will talk about that are a little bit more common and, give you a little bit of creative searching ideas wherever you may be. I know some places are opening up to coin shows and all that great stuff, which is fantastic. I envy you guys. But those are generally a hotbed for cherry picking and a great way to not only enhance your hobby knowledge in numismatics, but also, spend a little money to make a lot more money. We're also going to see, identify a few coins on the list here. And we got a pretty stout list. We got 28 coins that have sold. Another thing to keep in mind with the Pocket Change Market Report, these are all coins that are raw. And what exactly does that mean? Well, it simply means that these are coins that aren't graded. You don't have to send these off to PCGS or NGC, pay the absorbent amount of money to get your coin graded or certified. There's just no need. The coins speak for themselves. They will sell on their own. Now, generally, we'll never, grade out coins that are of a low value anyways. So you're better off just either keeping it in your collection or simply flipping it. And then the more coins you flip, you can take that money and put it into something a little bit more meaningful, whatever that is. Maybe a centerpiece for your collection, or maybe, you do other things as well, or maybe pay some bills, whatever you want to do. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump right in. We have quite a bit of content to talk about today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Go ahead and hit that bell for instant notifications. And the first coin is going to be a really nice double struck Lincoln cent. This is a 1999. I believe it's probably a Philadelphia, only because we don't see too many Denver minted coins struck in error such as this. But as you can see, the secondary strike is about 85-90% off center from the primary. The cool thing is you could still see a full date. The reverse secondary strike is a uniface, so you can only see one actual side of the secondary strike. But this one is really neat, really cool, quite valuable, especially in higher condition. This one sold for $88.98. Superb. So we have a string of Lincoln cents that we're going to talk about to kick off the video because they are some of the more common coins to find out there. What we have here, believe it or not, this coin looks very well circulated for what it is, but it's a 1970 D Lincoln cent. You don't need all of the design details to know exactly what it is. I mean, it is unmistakably a Lincoln memorial. However, on this particular coin, the date is an important aspect of the coin when it comes to off-center struck errors, and people collected wholly on that premise. Now, at first glance, this looks like just a regular off-center struck coin. However, you're going to see just a little bit of cut right here, another strike. Okay, so this thing was double struck, but it's not just any double struck coin. This is affectionately referred to as a saddle strike. So, as you guys know, at the mint, okay, they have these machines that strike a number of coins at the same time. So saddle struck coin means that this blank was stuck in between two striking chambers. All right, so one would strike the other, and yeah, it's just it's a long process to talk about, but this one is just really neat based off of that merit. This coin right here, in its present condition, sold for $135. I know that 1970D off-center type coins are particularly tough. Call it like a semi-key for this particular error variety or error type. Okay, so this Jefferson nickel right here, this is pretty cool. This nickel looks and appears a lot newer than it actually is. I would have to say it's probably from either the 90s or maybe 2000s. But this coin was originally pitched by its seller as a brockage, okay? And, that could be misconstrued because what we actually have here is a coin that was struck through a kind of like a mid-state die cap, because you have the design devices of the actual capped coin on the die completely obliterated. All right, so it's not an earlier state, and it's not a later state either, because the coin hadn't flattened up to like a piece of paper thickness, where you could get some of that design transfer from the original die onto the coin. So this is right in the middle. The coin's still thick enough to where it's not going to upset any design details on the coin at all. But this one right here, struck through die cap, mid-state, very nice condition, might I add. But if you found a coin that looks like this, where the design of one side is completely gone, but you still have a really nice deep dish appearance, much like this, that is the type of error you have. This one right here sold for $134.70. An incredibly valuable error, especially for other denominations other than Lincoln cents, because it's a little bit more common there. But because it's also a mid-die state progression type of die cap, that's also a lot more desirable as well. And the condition is a knockout. We're probably talking about a mid-state 63 level of coin. It's got full steps, which is, pretty tough. And that's why I'm able to kind of reference it to being a coin of the 90s or 2000s, just because of that hammered strike on the reverse of Monticello. Another Lincoln cent, this time a 2001. Now, in case you're wondering, this one is indeed a brockage. It's a mirrored type, of course, and the brockage is about 30% off center of the coin. This one was sold by Sullivan Numismatics, again, one of the big dealers in all types of error coins, especially the rare stuff. Really nice, pleasing example, high-end grade. This one sold for $35. All right, so it's again, you can see a full date, which is a huge plus on this type of error. All right, so the 2019 Shield cents are a hotbed of different varieties, okay? And thanks to the main attributors out there like Chuck Daughtry and a few others that have gone out of their way to look at an obscene amount of these coins, have identified a few really nice doubled dies, okay? So you're going to have to look at the Philadelphia coins. Okay, that's where a hotbed of your doubled dies are going to occur. This one right here is a DDO or 1DO number 2. So this is the second type of doubled die for the date. And you're going to experience a lot more thickness in the actual date. This is kind of like your main diagnostic for the doubling of the coin. But you can see just the 2, the 0 is oblong, the 1, because these are single squeeze pressed type of double dies. I believe this is either like a class 8 or a class 9. You're not going to see like the strong notching that you would normally find on any other doubling, like a 95 doubled die obverse looks quite a bit different than a doubled die of today's current technology on these coins. So your date, definitely the marquee doubled die part of the coin, and then a little bit to a lesser extent Liberty, which it looks almost normal. You'll see a little bit of kind of that, some of that thickening here on the Y and T, but that's pretty much it. This coin right here sold for $7.90. It's a particularly common variety out there, and seeing as how 2019 is still a relatively new coin, this is one I would definitely keep on the list. So I'm a huge fan of cherry picking just bulk Buffalo nickels for this very reason, because you never know what you're going to find. Doubled dies, even the more minor ones, two feather types, which are braided dies, repunch mint marks, over mint marks, especially if you're looking through the 1938s, D, they have the D over S, and then one like this, something as simple as just a really strong 1930 with a little bit of a lamination deal here. All right, so these coins, as you know, along with the wartime silver nickels, bad annealing issues for sure. So you're going to see a lot of the lamination issues on a lot of these Buffalo nickels. So if you're an avid searcher of Buffalo nickel groups and lots, I know I am. Every time I go to my local coin shop, that's one of the things I like to look through. They're inexpensive. You can pick up the coins for like 50 cents, 75 cents, maybe $1 if they got like a full date kind of batch. But you go through them, you look for nice grades, you look for things like this, and, it makes it worth it. So your original $1 investment turns into $10.98, which is what this coin sold for. I think just the overall eye appeal, it's a nice VF30-ish type coin. You do have like almost a full horn here. You got the lamination, and then you have more of the woody kind of like, again, going back to the improper alloy mix appearance of the coin. You put it all together, and it's got quite a bit of eye appeal in my estimation. So, really nice coin, $11. You can't go wrong there. No surprise, another Lincoln. Now, this is probably one of the better looking specimens for what we call the floating roof type. It's a 6090, which this is going to be the date you will look at for these type of braided dies. But the little line that kind of attaches the top of the memorial to this roof, secondary roof part right here, there's a line right here and a line right here, but this coin does not have it. Okay, so that is a common area for what they call die abrasion, or simply an over polishing of the die. So, when a mint employee over polishes the die, it'll actually eliminate kind of like the minor detail cues of these devices, like those two lines, and it'll give the appearance that this roof is floating right above the memorial. And another thing you'll find on this particular date are the missing initials. FG will be obliterated, and usually you'll find either one or the other or both. In terms of the abrasion level, I've seen the missing initials along with a floating roof. And believe it or not, the missing initials is a recognized cherry picker's guide variety. So what did this one sell for? Well, the coin appears to be a nicer condition type coin, but it does have its issues. It has carbon spotting all over. This one right here is sold for $12.10. So before you toss these back, regardless of what the grade is, if you're able to take pretty decent pictures, you could possibly make a few bucks on these. Okay, the higher the grade, the more that they're going to be worth. Here we go, another Lincoln, another one that I would probably pay a little bit more attention to. I know this is kind of like one of those premier hit type dates that everybody looks through. 1960 large date Denvers are just incredible date to go through if you're looking for varieties. There is 100 recognized repunched mint marks for this date. This coin right here is in pretty decent shape too. I would say it's a nice higher level, kind of like AU58 brown type coin here. I mean, it's in really nice shape. This is one that I would particularly add to my collection because I like the appearance of a good kind of like higher level brown coin. But this one right here is a really nice RPM. The seller didn't specify which one it was, but we do have a D over D where the secondary D is northeast of the primary Denver Mint mark. You can actually see that top kind of curl there, and you can see a little bit on the inside as well. This one right here is RPM number 15. And that's through Wexler. That's on Chuck Daughtry's site, coppercoins.com. Again, there's right around 100 RPMs for the date. Okay, and they're all well collected. People love this date because it's an affordable, kind of like compilation. If you're able to get all 100 RPMs for the date, that would be fantastic. And there are actually a number of people that are doing it. This one right here sold for $13.84. That's not bad considering that probably you had spent a penny to obtain this coin. All right, we got a little currency here. We got a 1985 $5 Federal Reserve note. Now, there's something missing on this note. I just really can't put my finger on it. Oh, wait, yes, that's right. It's missing the complete third print. All right, so your district seals, your serial numbers, all gone on this. But it did go somewhere, right? It has to. Maybe it went on the back inadvertently. So the third print was printed actually on the back of the note, which we've seen. Now, usually when this occurs, it doesn't occur on just one note. It'll usually affect the entire subject sheet, which in this case, it's 32 notes. So there are probably 31 other specimens with the same anomaly on there, or the same error of sorts. Very desirable. Currency collectors love this. I find it just crazy that this note is not graded and slabbed yet by one of the big TPGs. But this one right here sold for $346. And this one was actually bid up to that amount. It's not a buy it now or anything like that. So it just gives you a little bit of an idea of how important, how well collected these notes are. Now here's another one, and I've actually found a few of these quite like it, but this one, it's just a regular 1995 $1 FRN, and the third print inking is extremely robust on this one. Okay, this one was originally pitched on the seller's listing as being overinked, and that's kind of what it is. I mean, just this black district seal right here is extremely robust. It's very dark. You can even see it on the number 10s right here. A fresh new application of ink to the plates is what caused this, and then even the serial numbers are a little bit more darker. There's a little bit of bleed in certain areas. But this one right here exists all throughout every single series of Federal Reserve notes, even the brand new ones. I actually found a few brand new 2017 series of $1 Federal Reserve notes that look pretty similar to this. That's in my collection that I actually pulled out of brand new bank straps here probably about a year ago. But this one right here sold for $20. So pretty cool. Again, it's just a fresh inking, application to the plates, which produces some pretty gnarly overprints. Just simply robust looking colorization on that third print. All right, if you're like me, you like to go through old pennies, this is one that I would certainly keep in mind. This will be a lesson for a lot of people that, it doesn't matter what a coin looks, someone will like it. Your trash is someone else's treasure. So we have a 1948 Lincoln wheat cent. This one right here obviously features a little bit of a lamination right here on the obverse, okay, and that's all it takes. Lamination errors, again, is simply just an annealing process issue. The coins are, the planchets rather, are feature improper alloy mixes. Some of them are just in bad shape, straight from the factory. But this one right here sold for $5.20. And I guarantee you, every time you go through like a full bag of wheat cents, straight from the coin dealers don't pull stuff like this out. They tend to avoid things like this. They'll look for the 1909 SVDB or the 14D or the 22 plain, but when it comes to things like this, they just overlook them. And I probably have a bag of maybe about 1,500 lamination pennies. But if you can imagine selling every single one of them for anywhere from like $2 to $5, in varying degrees. Of course, the older the coin, the more they're kind of worth more. And condition is everything, of course. This one, passes as being just an honest, problem-free example. It does have a little bit of gunk right here on the reverse. But again, you can't go wrong. $5. That's money in the bank. We got another dollar bill, this time a 1988A. And you guys probably pointed it out. This one is a little bit off center, but it's not the whole printing that's off center. It's actually just the first print, which is going to be the main design of the note with the ones in the United States of America and all that great stuff. So you have a little bit of a misalignment on the paper when this thing was printed. The actual third print with the district seals and serial number is still in the right spot. Okay, the back of the note is pretty normal. All right, so with the minor first print misalignment, this one sold for $29.74. So if you come across them, definitely pull them out. They are worth some money. Now this one's really cool. I think this is probably one of my favorites on the list this week because it's a very clean coin. It's a 2000p New Hampshire Statehood quarter. That's about 20-25% off center. Nice high grade. I mean, this is what it's all about. If you're collecting based wholly on grade and the type of error, this one is just a superb specimen. What's cool is what the date is. Okay, even if it was more off center where the date is completely cut off, I mean, it's New Hampshire. You know what date these were made. So that's kind of like another way of pinpointing the actual date of a coin. And most importantly, the mint marks there. Because you wouldn't know if it was a Denver or Philly struck coin. This particular coin sold for $103.45 is what the original ask was. A best offer was accepted. I'd probably guess somewhere between maybe $50 to $75. Some of you that have Terra Peak or whatever can actually check the sold listing price on what this one is. All right, guys, so as we go on through time, it's hard to believe that the 2009 kind of series of Abraham Lincoln, I don't know what you call it, formative years and, birthplace and, just overall commemorative factor of 2009 pennies is 12 years old already. But these coins, I'm seeing a trend. I'm seeing full rolls and varieties from the formative years, the Philadelphias, okay? Just so we're clear. They're beginning to creep up in price. They're not as affordable as they used to be as of 5-6 years ago. But this one right here, another example of what you can find. The doubled finger, doubled thumb on some examples. There's dozens of them to find. And people like them. All right, people like the high-grade examples. Now, this one seller right here actually has a number of them. Okay, so that person has kind of what they call a Dutch auction, where they have these in quantities, same variety, and you just hit the Buy It Now button. Okay, you want to buy one, buy one. You want to buy 10, buy 10. But this one right here is the double to die reverse doubled finger FS 805, and this one sold for $10.99, and he's sold about 2 dozen of them. All right, so he's doing pretty well. All right, and all you have to do is find a roll with that on there, and you're good to go. All right, just like my thumbnail picture suggests, do not overlook your silver. People like to stack silver till the end of time because it's tangible, it's physical PMs. Even though it's scrap. This is a 68D, so it's a 40%er. Just based off of the composition, the coin melt value wise is what, $3, $2.85, maybe a little bit more. But this one right here, guys, this minor rim clip right there. These actually exist a lot more than you think. And I'm happy to say that this coin right here sold for $23.50, which is nearly 10 times what the actual value is based on silver. So if you have these, double check your silver. Look out for rim clips, strike throughs, pull them out, sell them for 6 to 8, 10 times face, or not face, but actual silver melt. And, you're going to feel like a winner all day long. I've done it quite a few times, and it's great. You know, even if you go to a coin shop and you just cherry pick stuff like this, it's definitely worth your while. Another dollar bill, a 1988A $1 Federal Reserve note. This thing looks normal, but a lot of what really matters is actually on the back of the note. You either have a little bit of insufficient inking on that second print, or there was an obstruction. You know, a piece of paper or, you know, shredded piece of something was on top of the paper subject sheet when it was printed over with that green. But this is really cool. Okay. People really don't think too much about these, but again, this is another relevant error out there. This one sold for 50 bones, $50. So, you know, that's a 50 times face on anything that's a dollar bill is simply phenomenal. But I do have another note later on that I think you guys will like because it's a much newer note that we see out there. Another older Lincoln, 1957. This time, this is what they call a dual error. So this one is a die chip BIE error, where you can actually see the little die chip combining the B and E in Liberty. But it also has a little bit of a lamination as well behind Lincoln's head. There was a close-up of the BIE anomaly. Nice. You know, we got a nice little iPhone photo or Android or wherever that came from. But anyways, with that being said, the dual combination of errors, this one sold for $9.15, which is a lot. That's 915 times face value. I mean, I would take that all day long, but people do love things like this. So this is a really cool broad struck Jefferson Nickel. It's a 99p, very nice high grade too, well struck. You know, the steps are really hammered on here. Not saying that this was ever cherry picked or found in change, but I thought I'd just throw this one up on here because it's just a really cool coin. This one sold for $23.99. By how much this coin had kind of pancaked out, it's probably about the size of a quarter. So yeah, it's gotten that much bigger. All right, for those of you that still have BU rolls of presidential dollar coins, and then we're talking about like solid full rolls of one certain president. Don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day when these were released, keep in mind they don't make these anymore. It's been a few years, but you know the Abraham Lincoln roll here, and it's by NF String & Son. So this is right directly from the armored car company that put these together, or the processing company. And you know, they assemble the full rolls. They have the paper that have the president name on there, and then the face value of the coin. So there's $25 face. People are actually picking these up because they're looking for specific errors like the missing edge lettering and a few others that are pretty prevalent out there. And in addition, there's a few presidents with the missing edge lettering that are very, very expensive. This Abraham Lincoln roll, again, $25 face, sold for $45. So we're beginning to see these full rolls command a pretty nice secondary market profit. The prices just seem to keep going up on these. But if you still have this, keep in mind, you don't just have $25. You have so much more than that. If you don't need them, now might be the time to sell them or hold on to them because they're slowly creeping up in value. I would say probably another year or two. These will be worth $50, $55, you know, and then they're just going to keep going up because there's less of them out in the marketplace. All right, so here's a note I was talking about. I mean, it looks like your standard run-of-the-mill $20 piece of paper. I mean, this is what they all look like, even has a nice little unsightly teller mark right there on the edge. But take a look at the serial number. All right, so not only is it a semi-low serial number where you have 4 leading zeros and then bam, 7007. I think that's pretty cool. It's also loosely referred to as a binary, even though binary fancy serial numbers are zeros and ones, you know, by true definition. But any combination of two numbers on a serial number string, people call those binaries as well. And furthermore, it's a star note. So you have a triple whammy of just really awesome coolness. Now the note is pretty well circulated. All right, so it's not some gem like, beautiful, uncirculated 68 type example. No. This was a note that was used many times, but someone finally pulled it out because they recognized just the sheer beauty of a note like this. All right, and the value. So this one originally was being asked for $277. So that was the original price. A best offer was accepted. Again, you guys can figure it out. It probably sold for like $100 to $150. Fancy serial numbers are one of those things that, it's a part of currency collecting that is beginning to show more popularity, more people getting into it, and people love their numbers and what they represent. So you have zeros and sevens, star note. There you go. Really nice, quite valuable note that nobody ever seems to think about. All right, another scrap silver piece. We have a 1954 D Roosevelt Dime, this time with a nice size clip on there. So these do exist out in the melt world of just junk silver. So please, someone save coins like this. Double check your silver melt stuff, your stack. This one sold for $16.04, which is approximately like 5 to 6 times melt value for this type of coin. That's a nice return. All right, so here's one of those favorites I love searching for. 1938 D Buffalo Nickels. This particular one is not without its flaws. You probably see it there on the reverse. But this one right here is the well-known D over S over mint mark. You could see, the seller actually drew out the arrows, so you could see the inside curl of the S. You could see the top serif, top curl of the S poking through the top of the D there. This one's cool. It's not particularly rare. Now, I'm just going to throw this out there. These exist in pretty decent quantities out there. I've probably cherry-picked a good 50 or 60 of them, a full roll's worth, in varying degrees of condition. Even some that are much worse than this one. I mean, you could see just the scratches and digs on the reverse of the coin. I mean, the coin in itself, if you need an example, you could probably do a lot better. This one right here is sold for $30.90. Okay, which, if you look at it, it's probably a coin that you paid $1 for, right out of the bulk crap bin of other Buffalo nickels. So again, make sure you know what you're cherry picking, because there are a lot of valuable coins that people just seem to overlook. This is one of them. 1979 Roosevelt Dime. This one's a little bit off center by maybe about 10%. It's just a really wholesome looking example. Nice grade, low mid state 63, 64. This one right here sold for $19.79, which is strange because it's a 1979 and it's sold for $19.79. I mean, do you see the play on the actual date? And yeah, never mind. You get it. All right, so I've been looking through half dollars. Again, this is a coin that you need to be on the lookout for. 1982p is a date that is synonymous with die abrasion. Okay, this one is the missing initials reverse. All right, I mean, you could throw this back, send it back to the bank, but you wouldn't be doing yourself due diligence on spotting something like this and then being able to sell it for $9.95, which is like finding a 90% silver and a 40% silver out of a roll. All right, even still, I think it even has a little bit of a cut on the obverse, and that wasn't even brought up in the listing, but I would certainly bring that up too, because that there are missing initial. There's no FGs here in the crux of the feathers and the leg of the eagle on the reverse. But again, I've seen a number of these with that small tiny cut next to the Y. So there you go. You can thank me later. A lot of people know about these already. So another beater of a Lincoln cent, a 44D. Now there are really a number of various varieties to look for on this particular date, including a few doubled dies. However, the main one is going to be the over mint marks. This one is the 44D over S. It's in the Cherry Picker's Guide. This one is also referred to as the FS512. You could actually see the inner curl of the S, and then the top part where it comes out on the top of the D, and then the serif is like right here in the fields. It's kind of strong. This one's probably maybe a later die state at this point, but still very robust. You know what it is. This is a coin here that's sold for $42, which is not too bad considering that it is one of the more common overmint marks. Of course, the 511 is the big one. This is the 512. However, definitely don't overlook stuff like this. If the coin looks bad and you just don't want to get your eye near it, you need to, so that way you can find stuff like this. All right, so what did I say about wartime silver nickels? About how it's had its myriad of annealing issues. This is a 45p, definitely one of those dates that has had its fair share of issues during its production run. This one right here, you have a really nice large lamination on the front. And you also have little bits and pieces on the reverse as well. So this thing is in pretty bad shape as an error. But it did sell for $42.98. So again, you could leave this in the silver melt bin, and you know your other option is to actually cough up the $2.50 to buy it, just so you could sell for 40 bones. All right. Another silver piece, a 64D candy $half. I love the Denver 64s. If I could get a hold of BU rolls of this, I would, because there's a bunch of RPMs, double dies to look for. This one right here is the DDO number 3. FS103 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. This one looks like it's triple struck or triple die obverse based off of the motto. And this is where you're going to find all of your cool diagnostics is actually on the motto, "In God We Trust." This one is unmistakably a keeper. This one right here sold for $53.25 for a coin that probably was originally purchased for about $6, $6.50. Or if you were able to find this out of a roll, congrats. Your initial cost of 50 cents has gotten you a lot more. And then finally, this coin is not graded, by the way. The holder is kind of like homemade, which is really cool. Or maybe it's an insert for a holder or something like that. But what we have here is an 83p Jefferson Nickel with a nice size cut over the word trust. In God we blank. It's just cut die breaks are really cool. A piece of the die had fallen off after so many strikes. So that's the wear and tear component to the dies. And it translates to this on the coin where it looks like a raised blob. But on the reverse, you're going to have a little bit of the void as well right here. All right, so make sure it has that. This one, ladies and gentlemen, brought home $70.56. A really nice amount of money for a cud. People are buying these up left and right. All right, they're probably one of the best errors to find where you don't have to grade it, and they will still sell for a boatload of money. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to go ahead and do it for the Saturday edition of the Pocket Change Market Report. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge. Thank you, as always, for checking it out today. Best of luck in your hunting, and would love to hear your success stories. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that good old bell for instant notifications, and as always, Coinaholics, we are discovering together. You guys take care. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you on the next coin video.